Oh, it zooms in. That's not good. Well, that's better, moderately. So today I'm going to be reviewing for like the third time the new Schleich Horse Club riding sets that were meant to be released this year in 2018 but were cancelled due to production problems and will probably be released officially next year. If you don't believe me, go across to the Schleich website and have a look at their collectors, I think it's collectors catalogue. There's a few different catalogues they've got on there. They've got the January to June and then July to December catalogues, and then there's an overall collectors catalogue. If you have a look at the overall collectors, you will find them in there. I'm not sure if they've removed it from it, but it was released at the beginning of the year. But if you have a look at the July to December catalogue, you'll notice that they've removed the models from the catalogue altogether, bar one picture, which is the first picture of the Horse Club part of the catalogue. They do have them in there, which I found really confusing, but they're not actually listed in there as an item at all, which suggests that yes, they were officially cancelled. And then if you go onto other websites, they've got unknown release date and not in stock. And I know a few people here, well not here, but on Instagram contacted. I have yet to contact Schleich, the company themselves, but have contacted and they've said that they were cancelled this year due to some production problems. But that's not to say that there were some produced still. Obviously there is, because some of us have them and I can't help that. But obviously for the ones that were released, there are some pros and cons to them, and I can see why they've had production issues. The models themselves might not have anything wrong with them, but like personally I think there is a few issues with them. But producing these there could be some issues they may encounter with it, which is completely understandable. They're obviously trying to keep their company name up top, high quality and all of that. So them cancelling, it's not the biggest thing. I think they'd be better off going, oh, sorry guys, can't have them this year, but you can next year. Then them release a bunch of them and then there'd be multiple issues when they've sold and then all the recalls. It would just be chaotic. So for everyone that was excited for them to be officially released this year, don't stress, because I'm sure they'll release them again, if not next year, the year after, even better than they are now. So at least I hope they do. But for the people that do have them this year, and if they do decide to change them, the ones that you've got will fundamentally become exclusive models because they are the original creations, the original concept. And then the new ones that they release will obviously be the official run. So don't stress too much about getting them because they will release them at some stage. But for the people that do have them or are trying to get a hold of them, there is a chance that they could fundamentally become an exclusive item. But we don't know that yet because we don't know what they're going to do or if they're going to change anything. It could simply just be making a certain part of the item it's become quite difficult or quite hard to get a hold of resources. So who knows? We don't know. And we probably won't know until next year when Schleich decide to do what they do. But moving on, we're going to review, well, I'm going to review the models that they have released, the ones that did make it to the shelves on a few stores. I bought mine personally from eBay, and I think I spent a total of, it was over $200 for the 4 of them, which is really, really expensive because I did have them sent from Germany because they've only really shelved them or put them onto store shelves in Germany. I'm not sure if there are any other countries that have received them and have them in stores on shelves. I know Australia did receive a few actually in the eastern states because I do know some people. There was a toy store that did receive, I think, Hannah and I think it's Cayenne. I don't know how to say all the names, but Hannah and Cayenne were released over there and people were able to get a hold of it. But we haven't had any more delivered to Australia since, I don't think, and it's purely because the production has stopped. So I know Germany, they're everywhere. I'm not sure if they're in the US or the UK, but I'm going to the UK at the end of the year, so I guess I'm going to find out. If there are any Australians out there and they are in the UK, I will let you know, and I am more than happy to do a pickup and bring them back and then post them to you. So let me know what you want. And if I do find them, I'm more than happy to pick them up and you guys can just pay me via PayPal and I can send them off to you, which is all good. I'm going to be on a hunt whilst I'm in the UK to find all sorts of random things. I know they don't receive a lot of the exclusives because most of their exclusives are either Germany or the US. They do collaborations with other stores, but we'll see what happens, and if I can get a hold of any of them. So we'll obviously start with the main character, the one that they do say it's based around the friends and the friendship, but obviously there is a character that stands out the most, and that's Hannah, because the dollhouse is themed around her. She's also got a younger sister, Mia, and she just seems to be the one that seems to be slightly more the main person of the whole group of people. So we've obviously got the little rider. Now, for those that didn't know, because I know there are a few, all the riders are articulated. So articulated meaning that they bend. So they're not like, I don't actually have any out. I should have gotten one out. But the original riders were molded to be set in their riding position. So if you took them off, yeah, they looked rather interesting when you left them standing. But these ones, you can actually have them stand, you can have them sit, and then you can obviously have them ride the horses, which is quite good. I've always wanted an articulated doll to fit the Schleich. I've tried making my own with polymer clay and all sorts of random things, and I've never had any success because obviously these are designed on a computer and then they're either printed or they're molded, and then they're manufactured together fundamentally. And when you're hand making one, it doesn't necessarily work. But I've always wanted articulated dolls for the horses, mainly as a child when I used to play with them. But growing up, being able to do pictures and more posable, sort of realistic things, having the articulation has made things a little easier, especially with bigger models, like with Briar. Obviously they've had articulated dolls from the beginning, so, and you all know how easy it is to set up a scene with them and how you can maneuver them to look more realistic than this little already pre-molded doll. Which, don't get me wrong, I love, because I've got almost all of the riders. That's one thing that I'm still trying to find the rest of some of the retired riders, but I do have all of the new ones, so I do really love them, and they are something I'll never get rid of, and they are a part of my collection. But I am very happy with this, and the beauty of this is for all the people, I'm actually rambling right now, this is really bad, this is meant to be a review, but for all the people that know about my Generabilis general store, which is going to happen, it'll happen, it'll get there, just with moving houses at the moment, it's been extremely hard to create and sell and produce and set up the website and do all the product photography and all of that fun stuff, but it will happen. But now I have these, and this is the scaling I'm going to model all of my stuff off now. So obviously this is what Schleich will be releasing in the near future as their main run of riders, I'd hope. So I'm really hoping that the scaling will be based off these guys rather than the other models, because these are actually a lot bigger than the original Schleich people. They're actually in scale to the horses, which is why I love them so much. Is they actually nailed the scale. Some of the older riders aren't in scale, and you look at them for their age, and then you look at them in comparison to some of the breeds, and you're like, these are really, really small people. And for me, I'm 5'11", 5'10", I'm really tall. I look at these and I'm like, that's definitely not me. I'm not that short, and I find these would be your average height human. So just a little ramble, but they definitely resemble more of a human than the Schleich ones do, although the original Schleich dolls look a little more realistic than these guys. But that's something to discuss and for you to decide on when you buy them, obviously. So Hannah and good old Cayenne, I think it's Cayenne, C-A-Y-E-N-N-E, I don't know. I call her Cayenne, and Hannah, obviously. I'm actually renaming everything to my own names, because obviously they will be the Hannah and Cayenne models, but I'll have my own names for them because I like to live differently. But let's get Hannah ready to go riding. We'll pop her on Cayenne. Now, my Hannah doll, before I pop her on, is a lot taller than all of the other dolls, and it's because her boots have been glued on slightly lower. So if you have a look, let's bring her in. it's like, I don't know if it's just mine or if they're all like it, but she's like eerily kind of, you kind of have to put her on like a flat surface, which I'll insert a little bit of footage. She's a little bit taller than the others and it's a little bit weird, but what can you do? So let's pop her on and we'll discuss. She's probably not the best one to do all the discussion about because my one with the slightly longer legs makes her a little bit better than the others, but they are a fiddly thing to get on, so they're not child friendly, that's for sure. So if you're under the age of, not even an age, I can't even say ages because ages don't define anything. But if you're someone that hasn't got the patience, yeah, this could be quite a struggle. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and put the reins in her hands, but she sits on Cayenne fairly nicely, so her butt kind of sits a little bit too high up in the seat here, but other than that, she sits on and her legs look moderately all right in the right position. This one has got me. Like, she's the only one with a bent arm, and I think it's so she can ride more Western-like. Yet she's on an English saddle, English bridle, so who knows, I'll put her on one of my custom-made saddles. I suppose that is Western, and she'll probably look a little bit more like she's riding her style, but she's probably the only one out of all the models I have that sits on her horse correctly and somewhat in the saddle. And I think that's purely because her legs are a little bit longer. So I have nothing to complain about Hannah at all. I love her. She's a redhead. I love redheads. I love her outfit. It's cute. It's got it's a sleeveless little kind of button-up shirt, and she's got her breeches, jodhpurs, whatever you want to call them, and her Western boots. I love her colour scheme. I love the colour scheme on this one. The red and the blue. It's very cute. I love her little hat too. I like the fact that she has a hat on, and she's the only one with something on her head, which is something that concerns me about these guys. None of them are wearing helmets, which isn't really, you know, putting forward the idea of safety at all. So maybe that's something we could design for them as collectors, is riding helmets. Could we do it? Is it possible to make one that fits on all this hair? It could be possible. Something I might look into now is making riding helmets for them that look somewhat okay and not these huge bowl-like things on their heads, but who knows? Otherwise, just hats in general could be something fun. So that's obviously Hannah and Cayenne, which I'm all fine with. We'll go on to Sophia and Blossom. These guys are very, very cute. You can read up about the different characters on the Horse Club website, about their personalities and what they love to do. Also, that's another thing. If you're on the Horse Club website, they don't actually feature these models at all. They actually have the pre-existing riding sets that look similar to the girls, but they don't actually feature these guys on there at all. So that's another hint that they were definitely cancelled for this year, because you can't promote something you're not selling. So as you can see, she doesn't sit in her saddle at all, and her legs are kind of like all over the place. If you push her down, like if you wanted to sit in the saddle, it generally requires like maneuvering one of the legs so that it goes straight, and it doesn't work. She's not sitting down no matter how hard I try. But aside from that, I think they've just got to figure out the leg length on all of them. I think they need to just be the slightest bit longer, and possibly, without sounding absolutely vulgar, have their legs spread just a little bit further, because they don't spread wide enough to fit on some of the models. Some of the horses are just too thick in the body for the riders to sit on with their saddles. If you had a custom-made saddle on a thinner horse, you'd be fine. They'd sit fine. But these pre-made saddles, which is what most kids are going to want, or collectors are going to want to keep on them, with the width of the horse, just it's not working. So something to consider in the production, hopefully, for the next time they release them, is fixing that up. And then just the fiddliness of them, getting them on the horses is a pain in the ass. But yeah, back to Sophia. She's very sweet. She's got a little braid and flowers, and Blossom's got flowers all over her. She's in pink. She's got a little, I should probably show you, a little riding vest, white breeches, brown boots. They've all got a little bracelet on. It looks like a watch, but it's their little friendship bracelets. It's got a little bow at the back, and there's a little, you'll find there's a stamp on the back as well. That's just the safety certification, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. Quality or safety check, one of the two. But she's very cute, and all of their hair is made of like a very flexible rubber. So their hair is actually a different texture to the rest of their body, which I like. I actually like that about it. It's kind of cool. Makes it feel a little different. But yeah. So that's Sophia and Blossom. The horses are adorable. I have nothing against the horses apart from the fact they look like the new Schleich horses, which are, in my opinion, tacky in comparison to some of the old ones. But that's the direction they're going in. We'll do Sarah and Mystery next. I'm actually unaware of all the breeds of the horses. I'm going to be blunt. Hannah, Cyan kind of looks like an Arabian. I mean, not Cyan, Cayenne. Could be Cyan if you wanted it to be, but Cayenne looks like an Arabian just because of the way the body is and the face. I mean, she could be an Arabian or some kind of warm blood, some sort of... She looks like an endurance horse, not someone that not a Western. So I wouldn't say she's a quarter horse or anything, but I'd definitely be pushing towards the Arabian warm blood, somewhere in the endurance-y kind of area. Blossom's definitely somewhere in the Andalusian, the Pisana family. She's got the bulkier body, the shorter legs. I'd probably go Andalusian, just with the colouring and the body, overall body shape. Mystery's definitely, it has to be an Arabian. This leg just bothers me on another level. It's like, in comparison to the rest of her legs, if that was to be straight, it'd be way too long. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's a weird leg. It's just so out of place. And then the bottom of it would be, because of how it sits, so prone to scratching. So if you're someone that wants to be very careful with their models and not destroy them, or scratch them at least, it's something you have to pick up and put down, not move along, because... yeah, no, it's not going to end up very great if you push it along a surface. I love all the saddles. The tack that comes with them is really nice as well. I love how they've colour coordinated everything. I think good old Sarah here is the most difficult to sit on. Her horse, she's just not having it today. She just won't, she's not budging. If you push her down a little bit more, I just don't, because at the same time, if you get too violent with the dolls, they are a doll that, I've got a really itchy nose, a doll that could possibly break if you were really rough with it, but yeah. She does sit, kind of. I mean, that leg looks semi-alright in position, and that one's alright. So she's probably the next closest to being able to sit, and it's because her horse is really thin. The reason why little Miss... Sophia doesn't sit here is because her horse is quite broad in the belly. She's quite thin, so that's her benefit. She's same height as Sophia, but her horse is thinner, so she's got more chance of actually sitting down. So she looks like she's kind of like mid-rising trot or something. But yeah, I love Mystery. I haven't taken, excuse me, I've taken her saddle off. I've taken all of their saddles off, but I haven't had the guts to take their bridles off yet. I've had to push a few of them on further because they came like sitting on the nostril rather than over the nose area, but other than that, very cute. I love their manes and tails. It's their classic new Schleich style that they've got going with all of them. It's not realistic. I wouldn't call it realistic anymore. They've moved away from it, but they're more a caricature, so they're cute. I have nothing against them. They're just not as real as the old models, which we can do a comparison to actually. We'll compare the old Hanoverian Stallion with this guy here. Now, for all of you that are like, oh my god, it's another one to add to my Hanoverian mare conga, you're completely wrong, because it ain't a mare. It's actually a gelding. So, yes, it's technically on the original Hanoverian mare mould, but the tail is different, and it has manhood. So, well, part of the manhood. It's got a manly part. I don't know. I don't know what is allowed to be said on the internet anymore. Everyone's so about everything. But the ladyhood down there, which is normally for foals for suckling, has a slight dip down the middle, so you can distinguish the two sides. If you look at the stallion where they've literally just placed it on top of that, and you can see where it used to dip. But you can discover that yourself when you have a look, because I'm not putting it up against the camera. So, other than that, he's gorgeous, because it is Storm, Lisa and Storm, which is I'm really happy about. And I've got the foal. I've got the foals for all of them, except Cayenne's foal's in the mail at the moment. But I have all the others, and they're so cute with them next to it. I would pull them out and show you, but I've put them all back into my box. So, but I do love this one a lot. In fact, Lisa's probably my favourite doll out of all of them, but she's also the one that I'm most concerned about. And that's with her skin colour. As you can see, Schleich have been a little bit more ethnically diverse in these models. There's never been a dark ethnicity in their people. Or there has been. There was the zookeeper. There might have been a couple of others in their very old range of people, but in the horse club range, in the riders and stuff, they're always just white Caucasian of some sort. So they've never had any range in skin tone other than white. So, which has been really tragic, because I believe it's fair that everyone gets represented when you're having toys like this. And I know Mattel with Barbie have done a fantastic job with introducing new ethnicities, but Schleich being such a beautiful and endurable and child-friendly toy, there needs to be a change, and there needs to be more releases of different variations in ethnicity. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited where Schleich is going with this, because it's a big step in the right direction to have multiple ethnicities. The next thing I'd love to see is more male riders, because there's a bunch of females, but there's like one male, and that's the Western rider at the moment. So that would be a nice step too, is to bring out some guys. That would be awesome. I know Tom, who's part of the cafe, which hasn't been released yet. I don't even know if they're going to release it, but he can ride, and he's the male, and so is the father in the dollhouse set. But again, I don't know if they're articulated to ride horses, or if they're just a sit-down, stand-up kind of thing, like the rider that came in one of the stable sets. She's not a rider, she's like a groom or something. So I have a feeling they're like that. But if we can get more riders that are male, that would be awesome. And then we can go on to the whole topic of sexuality, but we're not going to go there because they're plastic people and their pathway is completely up to you. So, but as a physical being, it's a bit hard to depict somewhere in between when you're creating a toy. But for now, I'm very happy with where they're going. I just want to see more ethnically diverse people and some more males that ride horses, because that would be awesome. But yeah, with these guys here, she's my favourite. My only concern with her is she's depicted as quite a dark, not dark, but her skin's more of an olive colour on the box and throughout promotion and all through the storybooks and everything else. She's quite a darker skin tone, but she's actually really, really pasty as a doll. She doesn't quite depict who she is in the books. Everyone else, perfect. Just not her. She's just too whitewashed, as I'd say, for her doll. But that's all right. That's something they can improve on, or at least bring out some more ethnically diverse characters. Yeah, again, I'm not even going to go there, but you kind of get the drift with, like, her leg there is like, way out. But yeah, they don't sit on the saddles properly, which I can see as being something they need to look into doing. That could be part of the production issue, is they're not sitting correctly. But other than that, I do love them. They're all very, very cute. And I really am looking forward to seeing how they go in the future. I know a lot of people really were against the articulation. Some, thought no. Some were like yes. Some liked the legs. Some liked the arms. Some hated the arms. Some hated the legs. I'd love to see their heads articulated. That means they couldn't have the long hair on them. But if they had ponytails and things, having their heads turned would be awesome, especially for setting up scenes if you're a shower. And then I'd love to see the elbows articulated. So the legs, they're a 3-point articulation. I think that's how you do it. But they're articulated at the shoulders, the hips, and the knees. I would love to see a 5-point. So I'd love to see the neck, the shoulders, the elbows, the hips, and the knees. That would be perfect. But because they're so small and fiddly, I wish Schleich all the best. But that would be the ultimate goal for me, is to get the 5-point articulation. But yeah, that's all of them, and I am genuinely happy I purchased them. They are so bloody expensive, and I have literally drained my bank account on purchasing them, but yeah, what can you do? You do it because you love it, and I'm very happy I have them. And for all the people that do have them, embrace them and love them. And for everyone that doesn't, don't stress, because they will be coming back out again and they will be on your shelves for a normal price, not the price I spent, but a normal retail price that's more affordable for you all. So don't worry if you haven't got them yet. There's no rush to try and get a hold of them. But they are very cute and I do love them. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.
It's